Hey, in the last lesson we inserted a mask with a shape. It's the only one. Remember that the other images aren't masked. We used pattern fields for them. Let's have a look at the different options offered by Sketch to edit this picture. However, for those of you who had worked with Photoshop before, be aware this is not a photo editing tool, so resources offered by this platform are more limited than when working with a photo editing software like Photoshop. Select the image and press Enter to open the editing options. We can select a specific area of the picture with the selection tool or with the magic band. Select it, OK. And now with the area selected, we can crop the selection, invert the selection, or fill in. That's all here. If we exit the editing mode, select the image and go to the Inspector panel, we find two options at the bottom. These can be activated by checking the box. These are Blur and Color Adjust. Let's start exploring the options for adjusting colors. Click on the box and activate this option, and immediately some options are displayed: hue, saturation, brightness, and contrast. But not much more than this. For this reason, if you want to carry out a more complex and elaborate editing process, then you'll probably need to use Photoshop and export them to Sketch afterward. Another option to edit pictures is the Gaussian Blur that can be activated by checking the box. Gaussian Blur is the one selected by default, and we can employ it to modify the amount of blur we want in our picture by moving this slider. We can click on the arrows next to the Gaussian blur in order to select another type of blur, as we did previously with the masks. Let's select motion blur, which creates these motion effects on the picture. It's great for pictures of cars, for instance. In addition to the amount of blur, we can adjust the blur angle. I must confess I don't use this tool very often, but it's worth it to know that it exists in a Sketch. Another blur is zoom blur, and with this, instead of selecting the blur angle, we can decide the origin from where the blur starts. The area around this origin point will be blurred. Gaussian blur, on the contrary, is more used on a daily basis. There's a fourth option regarding blur, although we only appreciate 3 on the screen, right? Let's see it. So, create a shape, this time, for example, a rectangle. Then, uncheck the borders and the fill, and set opacity at 0. After that, go to the Blur tab and select a new option called Background Blur. Where did it come from? It was hidden, right? Unlike the others, it applies to the shapes and creates this glass effect over the objects. And it's quite used for interface development, especially to create backgrounds. So the original image is behind and the blurred image is in front of it. As I said, it's really popular design pattern, especially in model designs, and very used in Apple devices. The best part is that we can create the same effect with the Sketch. Great, this lesson is over. We're going to remove all the effect of the image. I recommend that you play around and use them to edit your images. And see you in the next lesson. Bye!